It's a blessing to welcome on former Green Bay star. He was all Horizon second team selection this past season after being named Horizon Freshman of the Year in his freshman campaign. Now he's the newest Missouri Tiger, Amari Davis. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Pretty good. Well, take us through how you're feeling because you've had an exceptional past 2 years now, and you decided to go in the transfer portal and move on to Mizzou now and be able to go create your new legacy out there. But just kind of take us through how you're feeling right now.
I'm feeling good. It's a fresh new start with a fresh new team, fresh new coaching staff. I had good times at Green Bay. I met a lot of good people, met a lot of good teammates. They showed me some stuff. But I just feel like I can do the things I did there at Missouri. At a higher level.
Now you've had a unique story to get to this point. You haven't always been a guy that so many colleges wanted you. Pretty much all colleges ended up wanting you. You weren't always a guy that people probably thought was going to be freshman of the year. Be a guy that could play on the all conference teams. That's where you're at today. So I kind of want to go through your story a little bit that gets you to this point. So let's head back. You obviously grew up from Ohio. What was it like growing up out there?
How it was pretty sports like. It's usually either basketball, football, or some type of sport. So just back then, I used to play for the school or play for AAU. I played for All Ohio Red, C2K, and King James at one point. So, I just kept a ball in my hand. It was always tournaments around and open runs around Ohio. So,
So what put the ball in your hand? Like, was that something in your family just kind of fall in love with it at one point? Like, what brought you to play the game of basketball?
when my brother was older, I used to watch him play and watch him practice and stuff. And, it looked like something that I wanted to do. So I just, learned from him, did stuff that they did in practice on the side.
Now, no, we obviously know about the tragic story about your brother, but kind of want you to take us through that. Like, obviously, going through a situation that you've gone through, kind of having a big brother. We know how important it is for a lot of guys to grow up and kind of grow through with a brother. But how have you grown from that? How has that impacted your life and helped make you kind of the person you are today?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people hurt when he passed, and it kind of motivated me. Like, he left his mark on this many people. I want to do the same thing, and even more. So, every time I go out and play, I play for him. I make sure, I talk to him here and there, and then I always think about him. So, any game or anything, I just go in with him on my shoulder.
Now, I do believe that you were around 6 years old, so you obviously weren't able to create too many memories with him. But like when you do kind of look up to him, and like you said, you kind of got to watch him play the game of basketball. He was a guy that wasn't going to play Division One basketball if he had an opportunity to. But like you just kind of look back at that. Like, what were some of the things you do remember of him while he was here with you?
I remember I hear a lot of stories about him. I hear stories about how he shut a gym down or he drop stepped and dunked on somebody. And he was a big kid at 15. I think he was 6'5", 210. So like just that by itself is amazing. And everybody liked him. He was a lovable, likable person. So
And you're a unique, different type of body, but you have that where that kind of nature about you, which is why I love your game. And that's because you're a guy that doesn't really matter. Like you're not the tallest guy, you're not the quickest guy, you're not any of that. But you go out there and perform. You get the job done, no matter what disadvantage you might have on the court. Walk us through that mentality of yourself. Like, how have you become a guy that really, even though you might not have any advantages when you're on the court, you go out there dominating each game?
yeah, I play everybody the same way. Tall, short, big or skinny. I just my goal when I get on the court is just go at them. Give them my all. Don't let them breathe. Don't let them let up. And that just came from my dad. He said, you're gonna be playing against bigger players, maybe even better players. So just always take it to them and don't hold back.
So did you always kind of think that you eventually will become a Division One player, or was that something that later on during your high school career started clicking for you?
I want to say later on in my high school career, I know my eighth grade year, ninth grade year, I was playing with Ohio Red, and I was getting like some looks, but I didn't think I was getting the looks that I actually wanted.
Hmm.
But as high school started going on, I started getting a little muscle on because we was in the weight room. So then after that, the offers kind of came in like from max schools and schools around Ohio.
So if I would have told you before you head into your freshman season that you're eventually going to be a guy that's going to play Division One basketball, go to a nice school at Green Bay, and create a great legacy there, you're going to win Freshman of the Year in your conference, first person in school history to accomplish that feat. You're going to be third team that year. You're going to go second team all conference the following, and then have the opportunity to go to a program like Mizzou. Like, could you ever imagine that?
Nah, I think every kid's dream is to, go to Mizzou or another big school like right out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't mind putting the work in to get to Mizzou. I made a lot of good stops on the way and met a lot of good people on the way.
Let's go through your high school career because that's really where you create an incredible legacy out there. You can score over 1,000 points. You go down all over the record books. You get walk with the state championship. You really accomplish so many things that every high schooler dreams of throughout their career. So take us originally to that. You always go to Trotwood Madison. Why is the school you wanted to attend?
I will say everything about Trotwood is just all love. It's all support there. Any sport that we play, it's always gonna be a crowd there. Yeah, the community was behind us all the way at our state tournament run, and the coaches was really good.
So you go into that freshman season, kind of walk us that first year. Obviously, you really blow up in your upperclassman years, really recreate your name for yourself. But that freshman year, kind of getting acclimated to high school basketball. Walk us through that season.
Okay, freshman year, I think everybody kind of knew like I was gonna be playing varsity just by. I think 8th grade, 7th grade, I used to always go up to the high school and hoop with them. So I think everybody kind of knew that like I would be playing and possibly starting. But I didn't get the big head. I stayed humble. I'll make sure I prove to people like why I should be playing. And then from that point on, the coaches and the players started to trust me more, and they started to put the ball in my hands a little more, and I was able to score a decent amount of points my freshman year. And then I think we had an early round exit to TAF, and I think the district finals. But other than that, I think we had a great season. I think we lost maybe 2 or 3 games that season.
You obviously get to have a great ball coach because you were alongside him for 4 years out there, and he obviously became one of the better coaches in Ohio history. But just discuss your relationship with Coach Rocky. Like, what was that like, and how did it grow from the point you first got to start meeting him to now even today?
First time I met him, I think I was the ball boy for Trotwood. So this was probably when I was like real young. He used to talk to me on the bench, see where my head was at, just making sure I'm sticking to basketball for real. And then from that point on, he said, when you get to high school, like once I got you, like you mine. So, I took that like in, like he was taking me like kind of as a son. So since then, like everything in practice or off-season workouts or anything, he always on me. He don't take it easy on anybody. So just the fact that he showed that love and affection like towards me, that showed a lot. And now, we talk here and there. I asked him, about his team that he had now at Trotwood, and he asked me about how Green Bay going and stuff. Yeah. We just keep in touch. I'll go up there sometimes and work out, and he'd be up there and we'll chop it up.
A lot of guys mentioned how critical it is for you to kind of have another father figure. Guys, typically going to be a coach for a lot of basketball players. But how important was that for you? Like throughout your high school career, like during the development process, both on and off the court, how important was it having him in your life?
It was a real big piece. I knew I could go to him to anything, just like my own dad. But anything like basketball related or recruiting related, I can always talk to him, and he never sugarcoat. He'll keep it real with me, say what I need to work on, say my strengths and weaknesses. So it was just always nice to have that.
Your sophomore year, you guys go 27-3. Take us to that sophomore year a little bit.
Sophomore year, we had a real good team this year. I thought that was gonna be the year that we was gonna win it all.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had Torrey Patton that's like Cleveland State. Then we have Miles Blue. I think he's in the transfer portal right now. He went to Saginaw Valley State. But I think we had a four-head monster there. So, all season, it was games, 3 people be on, 1 person off, But it was rare that happened. And I think we played good until we got to state. We lost to St. V buzzer beater. So that kind of hurt. And it was actually my first taste of, playing at that big arena, on that stage. Mm-hmm. And I thought I did exceptional. I thought I could have played better, but I know I was going to come back next year and play better.
And being in Ohio, it's not necessarily like debatably like the best overall state top to bottom for talent, but like there's still a lot of top level guys out there you're going to compete against. So like during your time in high school, like who was that team or even that guy specifically that you enjoyed matching up with? Like when you saw them on that calendar, you want to go play against them?
Usually it would be usually St. V. They'll have like a good like guard or forward. I know. I think my first 2 years, well, my sophomore year, Javon Graves. I think he's at Buffalo still, maybe. But yeah, I remember playing against him. You know, he's a big, strong guard, and you know, he got the shots that he wanted to sometimes. And we used to play in the Flying to the Hoop Invitational, so we always played like you know top level high schools. I think that year we played. I think we played. Who we played that year? We played Prolific Prep that year. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we played Gary Trent and all them. So it was real exciting. But you know, I kind of look forward to the Flying to the Hoop Invitational because he always put us up against like bigger schools, better schools, just so we can you know get better ourselves.
We gotta walk into that prolific prep game a little bit. Like you just mentioned, they have Gary Trent. They have a ton of top level guys on that team. Just what was that game like?
The game was crazy. We was staying with them until about after halftime.
Mhm.
The refs was kind of shaky, so you know, a couple players fouled out. I think I fouled out a little early, but I think Torrey he had a real decent game. Him and Gary Trent was going back and forth, but yeah, that game was crazy. It was a lot of big players out there, and you know, we was ready for it.
So you kind of mentioned that it was more towards your upperclassmen years when you got those offers, but when did you personally feel that, okay, I'm a guy that can be one of the better players every time I step on a court. I'm a guy that I truly believe can play at the Division I level. Like, when was that for you?
I'll say my junior year. Two of our seniors left my sophomore year, so I knew me and another guy. I knew we had to step up our game and be leaders on the team. You know, be like the guys for the team. So since then, you know, I said to myself like, you know, I gotta put in some more work if I want to make this happen. So like ever since after we lost to St. V in AAU season, I just been going hard, you know, in the weight room on the court and just perfecting my game, you know, perfecting my jump shot, you know, getting stronger. And then it just went up from there.
I know every guy always remembers that first offer that comes in for you. So what was that day like and how did you learn that you got that offer?
I think it was a morning. I think it was during AAU season, so I wasn't in school. It was one morning. I had got a call from a coach at Cleveland State. And, you know, he was talking, because I think that's when the live period starts, so they could start calling players. And
Mhm.
I finally got a call. And then he was talking to me and stuff. And then, like, once he said I had got an offer, you know, like, I kind of wanted to yell because, like, it was always a dream to get, like, a D1 offer. But, you know, it was real exciting for me. I knew once I got that one, like, more was going to be coming in. And it was just, it was, it was good to see that my work was starting to pay off.
Who was the first person you told after you found out they got the offer?
I tried to call my parents, but they was at work, so they didn't answer the phone. So I ended up telling my sister when she had got home from work.
So what was your parents' reaction when you did get to tell them?
They was excited. They thought I was lying at first because I play a lot with my parents, but you know I told them I showed them the phone call. You know I told them I was for real, and you know they was just real happy for me the whole day, just smiling.
Absolutely. Well, let's head into the upperclassmen years then, because your junior year is incredible. Senior year is even better. But for that junior year, you guys go 31-4. Walk us through that season and really what led to that big breakout for you.
Yeah. So coach, you know, he talked to me and Miles before the season. You know, he told us like, you know, this is y'all team, so y'all gonna have to. This not a coach led team; it's a player led team. So y'all gonna have to lead the team. And you know, just then, like me and him, we just said, you know, when we go out here, we're gonna, you know, do what we do. We're gonna put this team in our back. You know, we gonna get some wins this season. Hopefully, get a ring. So I think we played good that season, and then we lost a couple of close ones to some teams that we shouldn't have lost to,
Mhm.
and then we went to state again. We won in the final four. I think we beat a team probably by like 20 something maybe, and then we had a meeting with St. V again in the championship. You know, we told him like, you know, remember what they did to us last year. So you know, I think we played a good game, but St. V they played better than us, and they ended up winning. But you know, just the fact that you know I kept getting one step closer, you know, it kind of made sense to me. Like you know, my senior year would be the year that you know I'll finish it off. But yeah, that kind of lit a fire under me going into my last year at AAU as well too.
I mentioned earlier that you walk away now up among all the record books, all pretty much every single stat category in school history. Like you mentioned the 1,000 point mark and all that early on too. But like, were you tracking that? Like, and when you did pass each milestone, like you got all these different awards and records in your school. Like, what was your reaction to each one of them, and just what was it kind of leaving the school with the legacy you left it with?
Yeah, it was a. I think I definitely kept up with the 1,000 point, and then I think I got closer to 2,000, and I didn't even know it until I think like the game before, and then I ended up scoring like 40 points one game, and then I ended up getting 2,000 points. But it felt real nice because it's a lot of good players that came out of Trotwood, and just the fact that I'm in the record books or on the wall for being first team All State, it's a real honor, and the community loves me for it.
So that senior year was by far your best season. You get the ultimate goal of winning a state championship. As a team, you guys also go 29-2, and you average 30 points per game. You get Division II Player of the Year that season too. Walk us through the state championship run and finally accomplishing what you ultimately wanted to.
Yeah, so senior year, I knew I was gonna have to be the leader of the team. So every time we played, I just make sure everybody was in line. Everybody knew like what we was playing for. Like it was bigger than just playing. We was playing for a championship every game. Mm-hmm. So practices. We always go hard in practice. Practices be intense. And then like we really started clicking after we lost to Pickerington Central at Flying to the Hoop. But after we lost to them, like something clicked in us, and then we just got on the road from there. So like going through the tournament, we played good. We played third good in the district finals. It was a good game, and then we pulled away at the end. And then what was it? It was the Final Four game. We played Akron, but so I think they had Chris Livingston on their team. I think he's a senior now in high school. Yeah, but it was a real good game with them too, and then we put away at the end with them. And then the state championship game, I brought the guys together. I told them like, y'all remember how we felt like last year or even 2 years before, like we can't leave empty-handed. And I knew myself like I wasn't gonna leave empty-handed my senior year. So that game itself was crazy. It was an up and down game, roller coaster game. And then it had came down to like the last possession. I think we had got a big stop on them. And then my teammate, I led it to my other teammate, and we scored a bucket to go forward with like 3-4 seconds left, and that sealed the win for us. But then once we won, it was like a sign of relief because, I finally got the, monkey off my back, and we finally won the state championship, and it was like there's no other way to go out your senior year than to win a state championship game.
You also just mentioned a guy's name that I personally think is debated the number one player, if not top two, in 2022, and that's Chris Livingston. What was it like playing him? Because you got to play against him as the younger guy. I think he said he was a freshman or sophomore that year. Like, how frustrated was he at that point in time? And do you think he could develop and still remain a top guy in the country at that point in time like he has?
Yeah, I knew he had a lot of upside. I knew if he like stuck to it and stayed in the gym, I knew he'll probably be, one of the best players in the country. He's tall, athletic, can shoot the ball, can dunk, jump out the gym. And I was actually able to see some of that prior to playing him, while we were scouting. And I'm like, okay, like, well, let's play. So when we played him, we didn't take it easy on him. We kind of made it hard for him, made him get the ball up. We trapped a lot, so I think it was kind of frustrating for him. But yeah, he's a good player though.
Now there's one thing about him, like you said, that he's just got that athleticism that at the end of the day, there's not much you can do. Like someone could just throw a lob up to him and he's gonna go get it. Like when you're going into a guy like that, how do you defend them? What was like as a team? I'm not sure if you got necessarily on him more because you're more the point guard, but like what was it like? Did your teammates have to struggle with them? What was it like just trying to defend a guy that could jump like that?
Well, he used to bring the ball. He brought the ball up quite a bit, so we would trap him and get the ball out of his hands, and then we'll have like one of our defenders probably deny him like most of the possession, so he wouldn't get the ball back. Sometimes most of the time we did, sometimes we didn't, and he was able to get a shot off or a layup off. But I wasn't able to see the athleticism though. I don't think he got a dunk against us, but I knew he had it, and I knew the potential that he had, and I respect him for that.
Absolutely. Let's get in this recruiting process because You're a guy that probably didn't have all the offers that you probably originally would have dreamed of having, all the big schools that you just did have offering you. But you still had a good selection. You had Cleveland State in the mix for you, IUPUI, Toledo, Miami of Ohio, obviously Green Bay as well, so where you end up going to. But walk us through your recruiting process and what ultimately brought you to Green Bay.
Yeah. So I had a numerous amount of offers before I got the Green Bay offer, and I was looking to make a decision to Miami of Ohio, but then they had told me that they scholarship I didn't have a they didn't have available scholarship for me anymore. And then at that point, I was kind of panicking, like, where I'm gonna go next. So I started hitting up the other schools that was recruiting me. They was kind of saying the same thing. So then at that point, I was just stuck. I didn't have nowhere to go. And then I had got a call from Coach Davis at Green Bay. He told me, he got roots from Ohio. He loved the way we played. They played just like how a high school team played. And then I think one day Coach Donner had called me, and we talked a lot. Then he told me that he wanted to offer me, and I didn't take it right away. I wanted to get up there, see the campus, see how the team play, what they saying about the school and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I think he came to my high school. He came to my high school one day to talk to me and my assistant coach at the end of the school day. And just the fact, I think they was playing Wright State a weekend, and he had came up to my school. So, just the fact that he's going out his way to, really reach out to me, that meant a lot to me. So I told my parents, like, if I go on a visit and I really like it up there, like, I'm committed. I'm not going to wait, because it's a good opportunity here, and I'm not just going to let it sit. Mm-hmm. So, I got up there. It's summertime. It's nice out. The team's practicing. They're practicing hard. They take us out to eat. I think we ate at Lambeau Field. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the visit was real nice, and it sold me, and I ended up committing there.
And this is crazy, especially now we see exactly how good you have ended up becoming at the college level too. But like even you look at your senior year, like you just scored 30 points per game. You won a state championship in a state that's not the easiest thing to do that, any state really, but especially in a state like Ohio. You won a state championship as the number one go-to guy. You just won player of the year. Like, how did you handle that? Can imagine like you're a guy that's probably like, why am I not getting these offers? I just did everything you could pretty much ask of me. I'm not too small. Like, I assume 6'3" guard. Like, how did you handle this whole process, not getting the looks you probably wanted to?
I took it hard at first, but then again, my people was telling me, like, everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. And, to me, I think the reason why I wasn't recruited like that, maybe because, like, I wasn't, like, a real good three-point shooter. Because I know most people, like, at the college level, they can shoot threes real good. So, to me, that's kind of why I thought, why I wasn't recruited like how I wanted to be. But then again, my dad just told me, as long as my dad and Coach Donner said, as long as you can score the ball, any coach will want you, the three-point shot will come with just work and repetition. So, once I got to Green Bay, I mean, my freshman year, I didn't shoot them for real, but my sophomore year, I made a statement to myself that I was going to be able to shoot threes next season and get better at it.
As we just talked about, you're a guy, once again, that didn't have any really real offers that could get you an offer to the very end. Green Bay comes in, so you're just one of the final guys on that roster to add on to kind of complete the amount of scholarships they had. But you end up coming away with freshman of the year. You're the best freshman in the entire conference, put up numbers that are amongst some of the best freshmen in the entire country that year, too. Like, how did you go in there and dominate like that, scoring 16 points per game as a freshman? How did you do that?
Yeah, it started when I got up there in the summertime. I think we was having open gyms. I wasn't shy. I told them, like, I want to be on the court. Like, don't pick me last. Like, I can play. So I think I didn't get picked up the first time we played. And I kind of took that to the chin. I'm like, okay, like, so when I get on the court, I'm just have to show them what I can do. So, like, once we started playing and stuff, like, the guys was like, like, he can play for us. Like, he can be valuable to us. Mm-hmm. So then since then, every practice I go at whoever, I don't care, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, like, I'm gonna just go at you just because, I want playing time. It's a D1 school, so I've been killing their practice, and then I ended up getting some playing time. And then I think we was playing Montana State. A guy came late to to film. And then coach was like, Amari, you going to start on this guy? Everybody's kind of shocked, like what? So like since then, after that game, it kind of went up for me because I'm like, I got the starting spot now, so I got to keep it and maintain it. And that's exactly what one of my assistant coaches said. He was like, you got that starting spot, like don't get it taken away from you. Mm-hmm. So since then, I just kept working. Did what the coaches asked me to do. Just kept playing hard.
You have a lot of traits to your game, but by far your best thing is your scoring ability. And that's something that we know is obviously a lot of skill. You have to be very skilled. You have to work a lot on your craft to be able to get to that point. But to be at the level of an elite scorer like you are, it's a lot of mentality too. You have to be very confident to be able to go out there and say, I'm going to go out there and score no matter who's guarding me, no matter who I'm playing against. How have you developed into such a dominant scorer over time?
Just when I see myself like scoring on people and stuff, it boosts my confidence. Confidence is key. I'm always confident going into practice or a game. Just being confident on who you're going against. That's kind of how I got that mentality. Just not backing down from anybody. It don't matter, what the rankings is or what like the media is saying or anything. Just blocking all that noise out and just locking in on the game.
So was that something you felt like you always just kind of had, like since you first stepped on the court, you just felt like you could score the ball? Or did that come later on? Like when did you become the elite dominant scorer you become now?
I want to say probably around my junior in high school. I know I could score the ball like freshman and sophomore year, but like to do it at such a like efficient pace, I think that really started like my junior year and then on from there because I knew like, I'm going to be going to college soon, so I'm going to have to, score the ball, play defense, play make and all that stuff.
How much, if any, of a chip that put on your shoulder, like you mentioned, like once again, you didn't have all the offers in the country. You were kind of sort of ranked. I think 247 had you in the top 400 at a 3-star. But how much of a chip did that put on your shoulder? Like when you're going up against all these colleges that passed up on you, all these colleges that didn't want you, like how much of a chip, if any, did that put on you throughout your college career so far?
It put a huge chip on me. Like you said, like guys rank me, 3 stars or top 400, top 300. I usually don't get into rankings, but sometimes everybody looks at them at one point, and I just looked at it, and I told myself, like there's nothing I can do but just go out and show people like why I should be either ranked higher or talked about more. Mm-hmm. And then since then, I've just been trying to prove myself to people that I can play at any level and at any team. So.
Here's the even more impressive thing about that freshman year, because we see some guys like, of course, the Cade Cunninghams, the Evan Mobleys, they can get conference player of the year. They can get on the all conference teams, but those are like the exceptional one done top 3 pick guys. But you go into a smaller mid-major type conference, that's typically harder because the majority of the guys in the conferences are more veteran guys. It's a lot of juniors, seniors, where freshmen typically have to wait their time, and it's very hard to get an opportunity like you had. So how were you able to go out there, not just be freshman of the year, but also become a guy that's one of the top players in the entire conference, make all third team for the All Horizon selection team?
I saw guys like, Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum, John Morant, they all came from, small mid-major schools. So I just thought at that point when I was thinking, I'm like, why not me? Why can't like I'll be one of them guys? And I just thought like it don't matter like what school I went to or anything. Like if I just come out and do what I got to do and show people that I can play, like somebody will see me.
So how big is it for a guy like in your shoes? Like when you see a guy that's done it, like a John Morant, a Damian Lillard staff, like the list goes on. So many of those guys have accomplished that feat now. How is that motivational to you? Is that something that actually does inspire you? Or is that just something you kind of look at and say, okay, that's cool? Like how impactful, if any, is that for you in your life?
It's real impactful, some people say like, why you go to Green Bay, why this? But, like I think my time at Green Bay, it helped me a lot. I learned some stuff there. I got better as a player and as a person. And I think my game is on to the next level. So it's big motivation for me because, if them guys can do it, like I said, why can't I do it? And they put the work in and so do I.
There are 2 games I want to wrap up discussing in terms of your freshman season, and that's the 2 28-point games. And once again, you're a freshman that goes up there and drops 28, not once, but twice. Once on Montana State, the other one against Milwaukee. What one of those 2 nights, and just walk us through that, like, and how big also was that for your confidence going forward?
Okay. When we played Montana State, that was the game I got the first start.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to make sure, I left a good impression on the coaching staff that they let me start. And I got into the flow of the game, of the offense. Teammates was finding me. I was in the right spots. Hitting shots, hitting layups, and fast breaks. I was on that game. I couldn't miss. So I was hot that game. I scored 28. And then when we played Milwaukee, well, we played Milwaukee twice. I think I scored 28 both times. But when we played Milwaukee, they like a rival school to us. Both Wisconsin teams, so it's kind of a bigger game than some of the other conference games. But I just made sure when we played them, I didn't take them lightly. They probably thought like, oh, he's just a freshman, but I didn't play like it, and I wanted them to see like how I actually play. And from there on, I just came out with a killer mentality, like I said, and I was hot them games, and I scored them points.
When you're going to take a guy's starting spot, which happens quite often, obviously it's part of the business. You're going to get the opportunity if you're a better player, you're a better fit for the team. But how does that locker room handle it? Because you're this freshman that walks in, you end up getting a starting spot. Once again, the guy that you always took the spot from messed up and obviously was not on time. But did that affect the locker room chemistry? Did the guy that you guys took a starting spot for, did he kind of accept that? Like, how do you work that out in the locker room?
Yeah, the guy spot that I took, he accepted it. He was a senior, so he kind of been there, done that. So he had a mature attitude about it, and so did I. It was no hard feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And from there on, like everybody, once that Montana State game ended, everybody was kind of like, like we can work with this starting lineup. And then the guy's starting spot that I took, he actually ended up making his way back into the starting lineup. So it was a blessing that I was just able to keep my starting spot from that game to my last game at Green Bay.
So you wrapped a phenomenal freshman season. You get all these awards, but you got to walk us through this a little bit because that had to be still a great day. Like when you find out you make all conference team and then you also find out that you're the freshman of the year, how did you find out about those awards and what was your reaction to them?
I think I was in my dorm room maybe before class or when I was walking to class. I had got the Twitter notification. I think our Green Bay page had posted it. I think my parents, no, matter of fact, my parents had called me and I didn't even know about it because I had just got out of class. And they told me like, you made 13 freshman of the year. And I was like, for real? Like I didn't know. And then I had looked on the Twitter page and I had saw it. And, it was a sign of relief, that my, work is being like, people are starting to see the work that I'm putting in and just the things that I can do on the court.
So after that, you separate all the good stuff that happened to that freshman season. There's a lot of hype about you, this team overall, but the next 6, 7, 8 months is going to be chaotic for yourself. And everyone goes through the COVID pandemic that affected everyone, but you also have to go through the whole coaching change as well. You obviously now have Coach Ryan come in. He's the new coach. How did you adjust to this? Like, how just walk us offseason battling the COVID pandemic and dealing with everything that came with that, dealing with the coaching change? Like, just walk us through this whole offseason.
Yeah, so we had got to go home. I think maybe like March. It was after we lost the NKU in the Final Four. They told us like the season's over. COVID. They shutting the season down. Mm-hmm. So I went home. I've been chilling with the family. Getting in the gym, staying in shape. And then I had started to do a little work with one of my cousins and just working there. And then I remember one day when I was at work, I had got a phone call from Coach Donner and from one of my teammates. And he was just saying, Coach Donner was talking to me, he was saying like how he wasn't going to be with us next year and all that. I was kind of hurt by it because, I thought we had something good going for next season. And, I kind of built that bond with him going into my freshman year in college. So, like since I found that out, like I think our AD he had set up some meetings for us for coaches, to, like to interview coaches, see like who we want to coach. Mm-hmm. And then it was a lot of there's a lot of good coaches on there. And then I think one day Coach Ryan's name came up, and then I heard Bo Ryan. And I was like, okay, like that's Bo Ryan's son. So like, this could be something good. And then I had got the chance to talk to Coach Ryan. You know, he's a real fun guy. You know, he's energetic. You know, he got a sense of humor. He loves basketball. Everything he talk about is basketball. So, you know, I knew like with his basketball smarts, you know, like he can do something good here at Green Bay. So I think me and like a couple other teammates, you know, we told ourselves like, you know, we gonna ride it out. You know, we gonna stick with him. You know, see what he do. And we gonna see how the season goes.
Now, you know, and I know every player either knows heading into college or you'll figure that out once you get to college is how important your relationship with the coach is and how he's going to utilize you. Like having the great fit with a coach is critical for success in college. So you had that great fit. It was all working out great with Coach Darner for the first year. How nervous were you then for your sophomore year? Like, were you struggling with kind of saying, okay, what's this new going to look like? Like, how did you personally deal with like what could happen your sophomore year with the new coach?
Yeah, I know Coach Ryan, you know, he plays a different style than Coach Darn play. You know, it's a much slower pace, you know, more, you know, play ran style. But you know, I struggled at first and he saw it, I saw it to myself. But it got to a point, you know, when I was like, you know, if I want like this team to, you know, be successful, like I gotta buy into the system that, you know, he's implanting into Green Bay. So since like once that happened, you know, I think my scoring started to boost a little bit, and you know I started to find spots that I usually find uh, that I found in my freshman year, and I was able to be successful in it.
You know, boost all your stats by some degree. You end up averaging 1 more point per game. You almost get 17 this year. You guys as a team that obviously struggled a little bit more than the past year because you guys go 8 and 17. Now, granted, I know for a lot of guys, everyone could use an excuse for COVID. Obviously, a huge effect on everybody. But how did you handle the loss this past year? Like, obviously, you go out there and win every night. But how did the team in the locker room handle losing a lot of games this year?
Yeah, it was real tough. We had a tough off season schedule. I mean, not off season, but non conference schedule. We
Mm-hmm.
played some big teams like Marquette, Wisconsin, uh, and some other teams too. But you know, I usually don't worry about the non-conference games. You know, I'm more worried about, you know, if the team is getting better for us to go to conference play and win that championship.
Mm-hmm.
And then once conference play started, I think we started off 0-5, I think. So, you know, at one point we all just got fed up. You know, we like, you know, we gotta win. Like we can't just go the season not winning the game. So I think we played Youngstown State and we ended up winning. And then that kind of started the drive for us going forward during the season.
The one game I need to touch up on from this past year was your 35-point outing against Wright State, your career high to this point. What was that night like?
That's one of the games usually like all my family come to, and I knew they couldn't be there, but I knew they was watching on TV or whatever they was watching it on. So I just knew, you know, to put on the show for them. You know, not only them, but for anybody that's watching, including myself. When I came out, you know, I just told myself play hard, and then I ended up being hot. And Coach Ryan, he kept going back to me, kept calling plays for me, and I was able to score.
So the season comes to a close then, you're make all Horizon second team, and then you decide to push down the transfer portal, and we know you end up choosing Mizzou, but just take us through life in the transfer portal. You had a lot of schools reaching out to you. Like who was the ones that were you were seriously looking at? Like who was maybe the final group of guys you were looking at, and why'd you end up choosing Mizzou at the end of the day?
Yeah, it was a lot of schools that called me. You know, school called me and then won't hear from them ever again. But like the two schools that, you know, really stuck out to me was Missouri and Tulane. You know, Coach Hunter and his staff over there, they got some roots from Ohio, so we was talking. We had set up a Zoom call. You know, he told me, you know, Louisiana is a good place. You know, he got a son in the NBA, so you know that to me, you know, that sold me when they was talking to me. And then I had got a call from Coach Mann from Missouri, and he got some roots from Ohio too. And you know, we was talking. He said, you know, I'm gonna have Coach Martin call you. And then, you know, we started building our relationship from there. And then we set up a Zoom call with them, and they showed me like clips of them playing and where like I could be effective at on the court in different situations and stuff. And that really sold me because when I was watching the video, I could really see myself like doing some of the stuff that the guys was doing last year in games. And then he said it's a nice campus up there. It's a beautiful campus. They got good facilities. They got good players that came out of there. Jaylen Brown, Jordan Clarkson, and they always produce good guards. It seemed like every year. So I thought, it's a good opportunity for me. It's a great opportunity for me. And, it's at a bigger stage. We're going to be playing against, bigger, better competition. And it's just real nice to get that exposure.
So which call from a coach or a team was most shocking? Like when you picked that one up, you're like, wow, I just got to talk to this coach or I just got to talk to this program. Like, what school was that for you?
Probably it was Missouri for sure. I think one of the assistant coaches had emailed me, but I don't check my email like that. But I guess I got to start now. But yeah, he had emailed me and I didn't even know it. And then he had called me, and I'm like Missouri. I was like, wow, like it's crazy. So it was real exciting though.
We always know the thing for all mid-major players that then make the transition to high major, the already topic that goes for each and every single one of those you guys is that, is it going to translate? Is it going to come over? Can you still score this level? Can you still produce at the next level? We know it's a typical question for every mid-major guy that makes the jump up. So what's your answer to that? Like, how do you plan to go out there and still carry over? Now, it might be a little bit different. Obviously, you might change your game, different scheme, different playbook, but still producing at a high level. Like, how do you plan to bring that to the SEC and to bring that to Mizzou?
Just staying in shape. This offseason, I want to get bigger. I know I'm 170, but I'm kind of looking to gain some more weight. Get a little bigger. So, I'm going to be playing against bigger and quicker guys. So I'll have to be able to match the physicality of the game. So I'm gonna really work on that this offseason and just having that same mentality that I always got. At the end of the day.
Brought the three-point shooting aspect before, and you've made a living off of it already in college at the mid-range. You're probably one of the better mid-range scoring guards, and it's still doable. We still see guys like Chris Paul master that. We still see guys like D'Angelo Russell master that. But also adding on that three-point thing. We saw you add on a little bit last year. Do you plan to make another jump? Like, do you plan to be even better this year at three-point? Is that one of your big emphasis of the summer, this offseason? Or, like, do you still plan to go more attacking mid-range? Like, how do you plan to score your points next year?
Pretty much all around the court, all three levels. This offseason, like I said, I want to get bigger and improve my three-point shot. So when I'm in the gym, it's just getting up a lot of like repetitions of three-point shots. Still doing dribble pull-ups and combo moves into jump shots, and just staying with it for real. Just staying disciplined, staying humble with it.
Now, I'm a big fan of Coach Martin. I think he's an incredible coach. Last year, he got his team to the tournament amongst the pandemic, and I know they had a lot of different locker room stuff that guys didn't necessarily mesh as well, especially more for the second half of the season. But him as a coach has just got the job done everywhere he's gone and throughout his entire career so far. But what's like on that personal level? Because you haven't been able to get coached by him yet, but just talking to him on the phone, just getting kind of the early relationship with him. What's his personality like?
He's real caring. He's always asking me, what I'm doing, how my parents doing, how's my day going. Just the fact that he's doing that like on a daily, like that just shows me like he really like loves his players. He really cares about his players and the success that we have. So we talk daily, and that's what I like about him.
Now, how does he plan to utilize you? Because he's brought a couple of the guards in so far, a couple of returns will be staying, but how does he plan to use you? Like, what has he told you that he wants you to bring to Missouri next year?
He said he's gonna have me coming off some ball screens. I know I came off quite a bit this year, and he said if you get the rebound, you don't have to look, to give it to somebody required play. He said if you got a chance to push the ball, like go ahead and push the ball, don't let the defense set up. And he want me. Well, I want to guard the best player on the other team, so he's probably gonna put me on like one of the best players on the other team, and I'm ready for it.
And that is the big aspect I want to touch up on your game about, and that's your defensive side of you, because you've proven that you can be a guy that locks up the best player on all different teams you've played against so far. You always get a lot of steals per game too. You've always averaged about at least one steal more per game. How have you really developed that defensive knack? Has that always been a part of you? Did you develop that later on in life? Like, take us through when you got the defensive side to you.
I'll say my freshman year, high school. We like I said, we used to run in jump teams and trap, so it was rare you see us like guard 1-on-1. but I knew I could do it. But most of the time we was usually just running around the court, stealing the ball or trapping. And then freshman year came, Coach Donner. I think this was before I started. He was like, you want to get playing time. Like, I know you can score, but you're going to have to guard. And, I kind of took that as a challenge. So, I worked on my leg, my lateral speed, and just my reaction time. And I think the defense kind of just came natural. I just started, locking in on my man, saying, like, you're not going to go around me or you're not going to score on me.
Mm-hmm.
And, that just kept building up to where I'm at now.
We look at this roster, and it's a whole new overhaul, a new look team from top to bottom. You're one of 8 guys as of now. I think there's still 2 or 3 spots. I might be wrong on a couple of those numbers, but there's still a couple of spots of guys that could come in. So far, you guys have Adam Dejuan, which I think is an incredible addition. I think he's going to be a big-time scorer out there. Ryan just committed the other day. Jaron's coming in. You guys also have a top 40 recruiting class walking in the next year. So what's the expectations for this team? Like, how good can this Mizzou team be next year?
I think we can be real good. I've been keeping up with the guys that is coming in next year or that's transferring here, and I watch their tape. And I can see a lot of success with this team next year. People probably gonna think like, oh, it's probably a brand new team. But I think like once we get the chemistry down and like the system that Coach Martin wants us to play at, I think we'll be real good. We'll be a problem in the SEC.
So have you personally been in a better relationship with anyone yet? Like, have you got to talk to any of the guys on the team yet?
I got to talk to what's his name? Kobe. Mm-hmm. Kobe Brown. Yeah, I got to talk to him. He real cool. Every time I talk to him, he's in the gym or something, or I think he be posting stuff about him in the gym all the time. So, I just told him like, let's rock out next season. Like why not?
We'll be in the SEC too, which is obviously a huge upgrade to the past conference. How excited will you be part of and play in that conference?
I was real excited. I think it's every kid's dream, to play in one of these big conferences, SEC, Big 12, Big 10, any of these big conferences. But just now that I'm about to be playing in it, it still don't seem real. Probably not until, I play my first conference game or maybe my first game with Missouri. But, I'm just real excited. I'm ready to get things started and I'm ready to go to work.
Absolutely, man. Well, a few more things before I let you go. One of which is that if we look at your entire personality, the way you play on the court, yourself off the court now, like what's one word you could use to describe yourself?
On the court, I'll say silent killer. I don't usually say much. I'll talk to my teammates, talk on defense and stuff. But on the offensive end, like I'll just go at you, score. I don't chirp or nothing unless somebody chirp at me. But I just say silent killer on the court, and then off the court, I'll say goofy. Once I get comfortable with a team or coaches, I'm a real funny, goofy guy. I'm well to get along with. I'm open to anything.
Now you've always rocked out with number 1 in anything college so far. Is that what you plan on rocking out at Mizzou? Is that or you can switch up the number? And if you are staying with number 1, what's the meaning behind number 1 and why do you wear it?
I'm gonna stay with number 1. I'm keeping 1 because I had it since freshman year in high school, so it kind of just been my trademark to me. That kind of just been my trademark. So, any chance I get to get the number, I'll take it.
Absolutely, man. Well, I was wrapping up discussing a legacy. I know that's something that all guys want to establish for themselves. So when you are done playing basketball, what do you want to be remembered for what you achieve both on and off the court?
On the court, I want people to just remember me as, somebody that always gave it they all. He, real respectful person. He got a work ethic out the gym. He's, a good player and a good teammate. Then off the court, I just want to leave a positive image, like with everybody. I don't want like any grudges with anybody. I just want everybody to, know me as a lovable, likable person.
And God gives different stories to every single guy out there. We discussed your entire story now of how you were under-recruited, achieved all the stuff you've got to now to get to your point at Mizzou. And there's going to be so many more guys in the future now that's going to have the same kind of storyline. But what's your advice to those guys that are sitting in high school right now with barely any offers, especially because of the pandemic, not having AAU or whatnot? Like, what's your advice to them? Like, how will they be able to go through this path and be able to live out what God ultimately wants for them and just to basically still stay confident?
Just staying disciplined. You know, surrounding yourself with people that wants the best for you, and just believe in yourself and trust in yourself.
Absolutely, man. Well, final thing for you, give Missouri fans the three biggest goals you have set for your Missouri career.
Win a conference championship, win a national championship, and finish top two, top three in the conference next 2 to 3 years.
Absolutely, man. Congratulations on the big move once again. I'm excited to see what God's got next for you, and I appreciate you taking time to come on today.
I appreciate it, man.
Coach, will come on, man. God bless.
All right, y'all.